Well, hello everyone. We still have some time and I can see some attendees are coming on board. So hello, whomever is online already. I'm Oya and here's Jason.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so we still have some time and well, I want to really thank you again, Jason, for joining us today. It's very important for me and I'm sure for other our travel advisors and the partners. Um, you have an extensive knowledge about the product and the destination, and I'm really super excited. So
Oh,
thank
no,
you.
it's my pleasure. I'm really, honored to be here and present not only, having that firsthand knowledge on board Eclipse and everything, but during the layup period, we've really made some significant changes to sailing plans as well as to the ship. So I'm really excited to unveil what we've been up to.
And I'm sure that you're also like dying to start sailing and let's go.
You have no idea. This is the longest I've been home um, in at least 12 years. We should be in Antarctica right now
I
at this
know that.
moment.
Hopefully it's coming. Hopefully. Well,
Yes,
for me
it
also, I
is.
mean, I am not traveling like you do overseas, if I may say, or on a ship, but I've been always traveling too. And first time ever, I'm like, oh my goodness, it has been more than a year, didn't go anywhere, and yeah, it has to change very fast. So,
Well, let's hope the vaccines will make the difference that we're all counting on to get kickstart the travel industry again, because
correct,
we're counting on it.
correct. Well, we're counting on it too, and you are absolutely right. So. Well, we have kind of one more minute, but well, I think we can kind of slowly start, and I want everybody to see us first, and then I'll hide our faces. So the agenda will be actually, as you can see it on the screen. Uh, I'll just touch base about the Scenic Group, who we are, what we are, and then of course about our beautiful Scenic Eclipse, the world's first discovery yacht. And then we will be discovering Antarctica and Arctic region also. It's a bonus that Jason will be walking us through and share, his experiences and all his knowledge about it. We'll talk about a little bit of groups, incentives, rewards, and some current offers, etc., etc. And as I said again at the beginning, at the end of the session, I will open up for question and answers while Jason is here. Please make a note and ask all the questions that you may have, and we will answer them. If we do not have the answer today, you know me, I'll get back to you with the correct answer as soon as I find it out if we do not know about. Again, thank you very much for joining us today. Once again, I want to thank Jason, his time. We're honored to have him here on board, and I know that it's going to be a fantastic journey. So, I am Oya B. I'm one of the regional sales directors, and Jason Flesher, he's our operations managers for Scenic Eclipse. You want to say a few words, Jason?
Sure. Once again, thank you, Oya, for having me here, join the group and join you today. Um, as mentioned, I'm the expedition operations manager for Scenic, but I've also been a expedition leader for many years, and I've been in the outdoor industry itself for 36 years, and I've been sailing down to Antarctica and up to the Arctic for the last 12 years myself.
Wow, that's fantastic. All right, so let's start then. I will hide you and me, our lovely faces, and we'll get back to you again.
Okay.
All right. So the next slide. Well, let's meet the team. You have already met Jason, and Tom is our chef. And believe me or not, he has created 2,500 recipes across our 8 restaurants on board. And I read it that if you really wanted to experience this 2,500 these different recipes, you have to be a guest with us for more than a month, like a month and a half. You have to be with us to explore each and every single different dish. Our captains, Captain Irvin Lee Ruiz and James Griffith, I met them. I met both of them personally. And again, Jason probably has a lot more to say, but they are fantastic. And so here's our core team. So I wanted to mention also that we do have the discovery team on board. Basically, Jason has 21 team members on board on the polar regions, and I'm sure he's going to be talking about it more details. So the next slide. Jason? Oh, sorry. All right, let's talk about just a little bit about the Scenic Eclipse. She's not a yacht, she's not a ship. We call it, she's a discovery yacht. One of it, you know, it's a one of a kind ship. I haven't been sailed on it yet. However, I have done a lot of uh, onboard inspections, and I have been the, you know, I had the pleasure to have travel advisors a couple of times to walk through the ship, and she's really stunning. We do have up to 10 dining experiences, 8 restaurants and bars, dining options, in-room dining option. We do have a spa, which is almost 6,000 square feet. I think it's 5,900 square feet. We do have 8 lounges and bars. Our toys, zodiacs, we have a submarine, yes, a submarine, kayaks. We do have 2 helicopters. And again, if I'm not mistaken, one's on the polar regions, one always stays on board, just, you know, God forbid, if in case of an emergency, for evacuation purposes, we do have our 1 helicopter on board. But non-polar regions, these 2 helicopters are doing the excursions depending on the itinerary, depending on the countries that you are in. So it kind of like continues to do the excursions. It's a Polar 6 class ship that I would say. Again, Jason will tell us more about the details. So she carries up to 228 maximum guests on the non-polar regions and 200 guests on the polar regions. 114 all suite veranda. We do have just all suite verandas. There's no inside cabin. I'm always getting these questions. So what is the inside cabin? We don't have that. We have 114 suites and they're all veranda. Next slide, please. Truly all-inclusive. For the ones who knows us already, when it comes to Scenic, truly all-inclusive. Just to make an assurance that we do not ask a credit card on board when the guest comes, you know, for the check-in. So everything is all paid. There are only 3 things they're not included, which is a massage services, helicopter, and submarine. And these are really very minimal charges for, you know, maintaining the equipment, or if there's a service like, as I was saying, the massage, that might be an extra charge, but really they're very, very minimal. So everything else is all included. Luxury suites, 114 of them, all veranda. So every suite will have a spectacular view while they're sailing. Every suite will have a butler service. Dining options, again, up to 10 dining options, which includes in-suite dining option. Beverages, all premium. To give you an idea, we have 100 different types of whiskey. As you can see in the picture, that we have a whiskey bar. I think we do have about 14 different sake, vodkas, or gin. So depending on what the client would like to have, everything will be there for them to explore the beverages if they want to. So they're all inclusive. Indulgent spaces, again, when it comes to Scenic, we're very well known with our spaces, like the Senses Spa. It's 5,900 square feet. It's a fantastic spa. It's just a beautiful place to relax, or enjoying their time in maybe the sauna or steam bath, etc. We do also have the Pilates. They're all included. Scenic discovery, as I was mentioning, we have a discovery team, especially for the polar regions. I think the guests will have a spectacular experiences. Scenic enrich and scenic free choices. These are also included experiences. Scenic enrich is more one of a kind experiences that are included. The guests will have an unforgettable experience depending on where they are on the destination. It can be a concert, it can be a destination itself, it can be a cuisine, but they're all included exceptional experiences. Scenic free choice, these are again our excursions. They're all designed by our journey designers. Again, the guests will be free to choose their excursions depending on where they are, where they go. They will be able to pick and choose what they wanted to explore or experience. They're all included. Next slide, please. Excursion and activities. Again, I was telling you, especially on the polar regions, they're all specifically designated. We do have a designated marina platform, which means the zodiacs, or kayaks, if the guest wants to get on and off, they will be using this platform that will allow them to just, get in and out from the ship to the zodiacs or the kayaks. So it's going to be faster. They don't have to go to the shore to do these excursions because of the marina platform. It will be right there. And another cool thing is that in the polar regions, the guests will receive complimentary custom design parkas. They will be able to take it back to their homes. It will be given to them as a gift, and there will be special boots to use, but they're not, complimentary, but they will be complimenting and using it, but they're not going to be allowed to take them off. So the custom design parkas will be a gift to the guests. I just realized actually that I didn't mention about who we are. We are an Australian company, 34 years old. I think the first slide, my mistake, probably I didn't put it there, but we're 34 years old company. Glenn and Karen Maroney, they're the owners. We started our journey as a tour operator. We own scenic luxury cruises on the river, Scenic Eclipse, our first discovery yacht. And then we have our Emerald brand, which is 4-star. We have rivers, and also another yacht is on its way. She will be launching in 2022, Emerald Azura. So having said that, it was just a short introduction to who we are, what we are. Now I will turn it over to Jason, and we are so excited. And here you go, Jason. Please take it over and take us to this beautiful destination.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Oya. And thanks everybody for being here today. And one of the roles that I play among Scenic is I manage and organize the expeditions, the expedition team, the equipment, and I also work closely with the rest of the operations team in regards to itineraries and the offerings that we do. And one of the first things I wanted to show you is prior to the COVID layup and everything with the ship, this is what our sailing plan for 2023 was looking like. And after a full season with Eclipse and knowing what she can truly do, what she can truly offer, not only the ship itself, but the crew and the discovery team on board, we went back and we made it more robust and more exciting of an itinerary. So now you can see, and this just came out in the new catalog this week, actually, or late last week. So you can see the difference here, how much more robust of a sailing plan around the world we're planning on. So we've added not only the Northwest Passage, but the Northeast Passage, as well as the Far East traveling, and going not only to your standard type destinations, but more destinations that's in line with the eclipse herself, meaning more remote locations, more unique places that we know the ship can go to, that I'll explain in a little bit, that no other tour operator can actually access unless they have the kind of dynamic systems we have on board. So with that, I just wanted to take you on to starting with Antarctica and a bit of a journey and a bit of the difference with how our type of Antarctic itinerary is compared to other operators and what sets the Scenic Eclipse aside and on the cutting edge compared to our competitors out there. So this first slide this is what a typical trip from any operator. It's an 11-day Antarctic trip that leaves from Ushuaia, basically goes down, hits all the highlights of the Antarctic Peninsula, and then heads back to Ushuaia. And like I said, you know, that's a typical 11-day trip. Now, on board Eclipse, this is what our 11-day, and this is actually the sailing map that I took from one of our voyages this last Antarctic season, the 2019-2020 Antarctic season. So you can see how much further we go, how many more sites we visit, and there's reason behind this that I want to share with you as to how being on board Scenic Eclipse and being able to go farther, do more, see more, and truly experience and discover Antarctica far greater than our other operators can take you. So how we do this is first is the state-of-the-art advanced technology. Eclipse was built specifically for the polar regions, and not only the polar regions, but she was also built specifically for Antarctica and crossing the Drake Passage. So one of the features is the custom-built stabilizers. It's 50% larger than any other ship, and I'll have another slide to explain a little further about the stabilizers. But because of that, crossing the Drake Passage is much smoother. Now, granted, she may roll a bit, but I was on board last season, and we were in 5-meter swells. And for me, who, you know, can still get a little queasy in on seas, rough seas, but 5-meter swells was pretty significant. And to be honest with you, she rode through so quickly, so smoothly that guests barely felt the rolling motion of crossing the Drake. It was actually a pleasure with having such rough seas on board Eclipse, and that's because, one, her speed, but also her oversized stabilizers. The other thing about the stabilizers is they're automatically adjustable. So even when we're at 0 speed, and if there's swell or wind rolling against the ship, she can hold the ship stable at 0 stability, which is just phenomenal, so that no matter what the conditions, whether we're traveling or if we are on station doing a operation, excursions and everything, she can really hold point, and you don't even notice that either wind or swells are pushing against her. Another advanced technology is her dynamic positioning system, or what we call as DPS. This is breakthrough technology for expedition ships. Eclipse is one of the first expedition ships to have it. I know other ships that are being built at the moment are following suit, but basically the dynamic positioning system works off GPS. So when we get on station for an excursion to do whether going ashore or kayaks, paddleboards, zodiacs, doesn't matter, we never have to drop her anchor. And the beauty of this is, one, it protects the ocean floor, it protects the sea life, the coral, the reefs, whatever. And so with her thrusters, her dynamic positioning, and the adjustable fins, with, once again, wind and swell pushing against her, she stays on target, meaning she never drifts or moves, where other ships who have to drop anchor to hold station, you only drop one anchor, so the wind and swells will actually pull the ship and she'll swing around the anchor. So consistently, always the captain has to raise anchor, reposition the ship to give lee, as we call it, to give the leeward side, the non-windy side of the ship to the zodiacs and whatever operation is happening. And so they're always repositioning the ship, where onboard Eclipse, we never have to reposition because she always holds stable, which is just a phenomenal trait to have and makes the efficiency of our operation to go so much smoother and more comfortable for our guests. Some of the other technologies are our sustainable systems, our water treatment system. We not only have one water treatment system, we actually have two redundant systems that feed into each other, so that when we're doing reverse osmosis, desalinizing the salt water, what comes out of the tabs are drinkable water. And so, which many ships, you don't have that capability. And so for us, all the tap water, everything is clean drinking water because we have that redundant twin system. Also, we have full recycling on board and everything, so that there's zero waste actually that we have. And so all the recyclables, everything, every time we go back to Ushuaia, the glass, the cardboards, everything, the plastics, all get offloaded. The other thing too is our treatment plant on board is state of the art, so that when we do release water, and when you're in Antarctic water, so you know, it's illegal to dump any wastewater into the Southern Ocean. So until you cross the southern ocean line, there's no dumping. But when we do in open waters, it's actually gone from black to brown to gray to clean water, not drinkable, but clean water that gets actually put into the oceans because of our treatment system. Once again, is state of the art. And so what we're putting back into the ocean is clean water there. So those are just some of the highlights of the technologies that we have. The next thing, like I mentioned, is with the fins. You can see on the left slide is what your typical ship fins look like, your stabilizers. They're quite small, nothing big, but on Eclipse, on the right-hand side, you can see how much larger they are. And it's amazing when we're doing zodiac operations off of our side gates, our guests can actually look in the water when it's clear crystal water, and you can see the fins and how large they are. And so they're very dynamic and robust. And as Oya mentioned, also the hull itself was built specific, as I said, for the polar class. So she's a class 6 rating, which is the highest classification for any type of luxury vessel, any polar vessel just under an icebreaker. So because of that, we can go further. We can go deeper into the Weddell Sea or further down the southern line, so that we can push into the ice and have types of experiences where we're beyond the Arctic Circle. We can drive the ship right into the ice and have our guests get off the ice and have those incredible type of experiences here on this slide, where we actually have our different penguins there. The penguin on the left is an emperor penguin, and the penguins on the right are Adelies. And then we had our guests come right off onto the sea ice itself, the fast ice, and just enjoy that experience. And just to share, this photo was on the maiden voyage of Eclipse to Antarctica, and on her very first landing in the Weddell Sea, we went up to the ice, and our guests got off on her maiden disembarkation, and there we had emperor penguins to greet us in the Adelies. So it was such a phenomenal treat to have. And so I just wanted to and on the slide it says onboard Scenic Eclipse, we call it Discovery rather than Expedition. So as mentioned, it's a Discovery yacht. So we actually have a Discovery team Oya, can you still see the slides? Something went a little wonky.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so with that, let me see, I think there we go, okay. So with that, I wanted to, explain a little bit about what does eclipse excursions look like here. So a typical excursion, one, as mentioned, from the ship, we transfer our guests over to shore by Zodiac. And we have different types of Zodiac landings, whether it's a beach landing, as it is here, or we go up against rocks, onto the ice. So there's actually different types of landings, but regardless, the Discovery team is always there. They get off the ship first about an hour prior to guests getting off the ship, so they can set the beach up, set safe walking, if it's a self-guided walk or if it's guided walks, and making sure everything is secure and ready for our guests. And as part of your experience, being able to experience the colonies, the penguin colonies, these are king penguins on South Georgia Island here, where there's over 250,000 mating pairs of king penguins that we go explore. Some of the excursions also look like where we may not go ashore, but you're on a Zodiac cruise. And the Zodiac cruise is with our Discovery guide, who's also a Zodiac driver. And our guides are naturalists. So they're always there being able to interpret the wildlife, interpret the geology, and all that you see, including here the ice. And, I'm part of the Zodiac cruises, seeing the ice formations and how beautiful and unique they are. So you can go on a photo safari and have our guides there, once again, interpreting everything that you're seeing and being part of that experience with you, so you can really see and explore the true beauty of Antarctica and what's all around her and take advantage. And here, like I mentioned, another type of landing is on rocks. And every time our guests arrive on shore, we have what we call as our beach master, which is normally one of our assistant expedition leaders or our expedition leader or discovery leader. And they'll greet you, they'll explain the safety, the parameters of going on shore, what to expect, your time table you have and everything before then we disembark our guests from the Zodiac. And here, as mentioned, we also not only part of our experiences for our guests, but we do have our kayak programs. And our kayak program in our polar regions are guided. Our guests are in tandem kayaks, and we have 8 tandem kayaks so each excursion is up to 16 guests at a time. And each time we do have an excursion, usually a morning session and an afternoon session, we would also have the kayak excursions going. And of course, everything is weather dependent, but all our kayak guides are certified, not only paddling guides, kayak guides, but they're also polar kayak certified guides. And something new that we're introducing for our next Antarctic season for the 21-22 season will be paddleboarding. And just to let you know, I just received a photo from our manufacturer. Our brand new boards were just completed and ready to be shipped out to the Eclipse itself. And they're beautiful custom made boards that are logoed and designed specifically for us for the polar regions, as well as being able to be in the warm Caribbean and Mediterranean waters so that we can utilize them in both polar and in the warm waters. So on top of that, some of our other type of excursions, as mentioned, we do have our helicopters. We do have 2 state-of-the-art Airbus EC-130s, which do hold up to 6 guests at a time, and the 7th is the pilot. And we do normally fly both helicopters at all times. And even in the polar regions now, we do actually fly both out there. And one of the things we're going to be adding coming this next season is going to be heli assist skiing down in Antarctica as well as in Greenland. So we will be offering heliskiing as well. So we're actually working with our pilots, and I've hired some of the best heliski guides and who have years of experience not only skiing in the Alps themselves in Europe, but also in Antarctica and Greenland as well. And they'll be our ski guides. So that's going to be an option that's coming up here. And then this photo here is, you know, the photo of the helicopters actually taking off from the ship. And there's nothing like at all the experience of flying from the ship and then back onto the ship. It's just a unique experience to see. And not only seeing the landscape of wherever you are, wherever our guests are in the world, but also, you know, to be flying above a pod of humpback whales, watching them feed or seeing the, you know, them with their young, you know, is just incredible. And of course, in Antarctica, we do have specific standards. We don't fly anything lower than 300 feet. So we're well above the wildlife, the penguin colonies, the whales, the seals, the birds, and so on. So we do have strict parameters on how we fly, where we fly, and our distances we fly from the colonies themselves, as well as from the ship for safety protocols. This next slide is actually just a view of, you know, a view from the helicopter. This is actually in Greenland, flying over one of the fjords. The ship is actually right below the helicopter. You can't see the ship, but she's just right below and behind. And then here's just that little view to give you that bird's eye view from whether it's from the waterline or above. And then next, of course, another way to experience wherever you are in the world, and especially in Antarctica. And Eclipse last year was truly the first to pioneer both helicopter and submarines in Antarctica for guests themselves. And so, to be honest with you, and I was on board a lot because we were working on developing the system to maximize the amount of submarine dives, to maximize the amount of helicopter flights and the kayaks and everything else that we're doing all at once. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but it was definitely a beautiful sight to see for sure. So here, our submarine, it's a U-Boat Works Cruise 7 submarine. So it holds up to 6 guests, the 7th being the pilot. She does dive up to 300 meters. Normally we do take our guests down to the ocean floor because that's how to maximize the sea life that we can see and everything that's living down in the Antarctic waters. And it's pretty phenomenal. Also, the seats, our guest seats do swivel up to 280 degrees so that the guests have the capability of looking around and seeing everything within the bubbles on both sides, the port and starboard sides. So this is a view of the Scenic Neptune actually being launched into the water out of her bay from here. And then she's safely stowed away inside the hull of the ship in a climate controlled bay. And what takes place. And so this photo, I actually took this photo. This is in Antarctica off Elephant Island at the time. And to be able to see the sea spiders down there and a bunch of other beautiful wildlife. And here we were roughly at about 180 meters down from the surface. And another view of the jellyfish that you can see. So, and here, this is a photo that I took, and you can see all of our discovery options in this one photo. You have the helicopter, you see the submarine with the 2 sub pilots bringing the sub back to her home, the kayaks, we're bringing in the guests off of our marina deck, and of course the Zodiacs. And so it was just a really cool photo. And like I mentioned, this past year, you know, during Eclipse's maiden voyage and her maiden seasons, you know, the Discovery team and crew really focused on meticulously developing our procedures to safely move guests to and through their activities on board Eclipse, because it truly is not an easy feat to move, up to 200 people on all these different options. And it's truly like watching, beautiful ballet when all the discovery options are running simultaneously. It could not have been done, if it wasn't for the guides and the crew themselves. And, so nowhere else, on a single voyage can it just, to discover Antarctica or the Arctic or wherever Eclipse may take you, by air, on the water, by kayak, soon to be paddleboarding, by the Zodiacs, underwater on the Scenic Neptune, on land, whether it's by hikes. We also have our e-bike options for our warm climate areas that we offer for our guests, the land tours, and all the discovery options that are there. And truly, like I mentioned, it's all while being guided by our certified guides who specialize in their specific fields, from ornithology, marine biology, geology, glaciology, history. We have historians, anthropologists, and these are all PhD, master degree people who are experts in their fields, but have such a passion of sharing it with our guests, especially in the polar regions as well for them. So to take it a little further, some of the wildlife that you'll see up to 8 species of penguins in Antarctica. These are just a couple of chin straps, Adelie penguins. One of the favorites, of course, is the macaronis that you'll see. Some of the other wildlife are the different seals out there. We have our crab eater seals, our leopard seals, which are one of the apex predators. It's really only the orcas and the leopard seals that are down there. And then, of course, our humpback whales, and there's nothing like seeing humpbacks when they're feeding. And when they're just curious. This was actually, I took this photo, I was looking out of my balcony in the suite, and I was looking down, and I made a new friend. And this humpback whale her and I just stared at each other for a good 2-3 minutes. I actually asked if I can get my camera, wait there. She waited there. I went, got my camera, ran back out on the balcony, and was able to take the photo. Nothing like it. And this photo is a baby orca, and our marine biologist thinks that this orca was no more than 5 days old. And we had a pod of orcas swimming around Eclipse, and the baby was just very curious about the ship, and her parents had no issues with the curiosity of the ship itself. So just spectacular what you can see, discover, and explore on board Eclipse. So the Arctic. I just wanted to go through the Arctic real quick, and just really to explain the many differences between the Arctic and the Antarctic. One, of course, is the wildlife, the diverse wildlife. The landscapes are much different. We still offer our discovery options of kayaking, paddleboarding, the helicopters, the submarines, the land tours. The difference, though, with the Arctic is there's more discovery and rich opportunities, especially if we're in Greenland, Iceland, and some of the other Arctic islands in the Canadian Arctic, because there are villages to explore. There's much more, for instance, bird colonies that are there, and national parks for us to explore up in the Arctic as well. And the cool thing too is, as I mentioned, the different villages, we will visit all kinds of Inuit villages, and have incredible interactions. And we do set up our scenic and rich opportunities to be able to have time with the villagers in their communities and spend time in their community centers. And they bake you a wonderful, tea and cake, and share stories or dance, and have tours of the villages. So we do visit from small Greenlandic villages to towns there. And one of the things, if you've never visited the Arctic, one of the common questions is, why are all the different colored of the different buildings. And basically, especially during the Arctic winters and storms, each color represents something different, whether it's a business, a hospital, a store, a home. So the colors actually represent different things, so it makes it easier to see in the, like I said, the Arctic dark winters and so on. And then also what would be considered a city, where it's a major port as well that you would be able to go visit out there. So we visit all different types of communities and villages, but also the wildlife. You know, you have a whole new diverse species of wildlife to explore, from the birds, the seals, the whales, the bears. And there's actually a little fun fact is one bird species that actually migrates between the two poles. And what's amazing is when you're with us in Antarctica, you can see, we'll take you to a place called Enterprise Island, where there is a colony or a rook of Arctic terns. And then the following summer, go up to the Arctic, where they have one of the largest migration paths, and then they migrate all the way up to the Arctic, where we can see the Arctic terns up there as well. And then one other little question that I get all the time, and when I've been guiding down in Antarctica, and you know, every once in a while we do get our, you know, question down in Antarctica is, well, why haven't we seen any polar bears yet? And I always tell myself, and as well as I tell my guides, that don't forget, there's the 10-second rule. If you get a question that you feel you're going to have a snarky answer for, wait 10 seconds, bite your tongue, so that you can formulate the proper, educated, non-snarky answer, so we don't embarrass anybody. And because we do get the question a lot, why haven't we seen polar bears in Antarctica or penguins in the Arctic? And so, you know, there are reasons behind it. But one of the major things is there are no polar bears down in Antarctica, as there are no penguins up in the Arctic themselves. And I did have a question once that I actually asked, you know, well, actually, that is a good question. So I asked our marine biologist, and we just so happen to have 2 PhD marine biologists on board. And I said, why, if due to climate change and the polar bear population is slowly diminishing, why can't we transfer polar bears down to Antarctica? And they actually were stumped. And they took 2 days to come back with an answer. And they realized, one, it takes 2 to 3 generations to be able to assimilate to a new environment. And because of the circadian rhythm of the polar bear, that they wouldn't survive, one, because, you know, the seasons are 106 months difference. So their rhythm wouldn't adjust properly. Two, they eat different types of seal than what would be down in Antarctica. And so their food source would be very different, and it would take a couple generations for them to get used to a new food source. So they would not be able to survive. So I found that really fascinating, and the fact that we actually stumped our marine biologist as well. Okay, so with that, just to wrap up, because I can go on and on and on, is, as I mentioned, during our layup, not only were we reworking our itineraries for our guests, but we're actually giving Eclipse a multi-million-dollar upgrade. And a couple of new upgrades that'll be seen is up here on deck 10, which was basically our running deck, but also where our hot tubs were. We did expand it. We added a bar up top and more of a loungy area for our guests to really explore their surroundings and discover, since it's such a wonderful observation deck. Deck 5 also has a forward observation deck, but deck 10 is really that wonderful social gathering observation. And then we also built along the sides, I'm just going to go back so you can see the front, and off to the port starboard side, you kind of see the lattice work. So along the port and starboard on deck 10, we have these cabanas on both sides for lounging as well. So our guests will be able to take advantage of the lounges and of the cabanas along deck 10. And like I said, there's the bar up there, they'll be personally served, and just be able to enjoy wherever they are in the polar regions or the Mediterranean, Caribbean, Asia, doesn't matter. Wherever they are, they'll be able to enjoy. One of the other things that we did on our yacht club, which was our buffet, we also had a swimming pool that was there in the yacht club. Well, we removed the swimming pool, added more seating, but we also added more of the buffet area. But you notice too, due to COVID and so on, we've added more of the guards around, the sneeze guards, what they call them, and we were able to offer more stations, more expanding upon the buffet itself. So our buffet area, which normally is for breakfast and lunch, is expanded with more seating. Also, I don't have a photo, I apologize, but on the back side of the yacht club now is the wall itself is a glass wall that opens up. So on beautiful days, we have outdoor seating, and indoors can enjoy that wonderful sea breeze in and out, and having that combined indoor or outdoor seating. And also we added louvers on the ceiling, part of the ceiling, and it's the louvers sit right adjacent to the helicopter deck. So while you're having lunch, you can actually watch the helicopter land or take off from inside the yacht club too. So that's a pretty cool treat to be able to have. So with that, like I said, I can go on and on, but just to give you a quick snapshot of Eclipse, what we've been doing with her, and a little bit about our Antarctic and our Arctic programs. So with that, Oya, I will turn it back over to you to wrap up. So thank you, everybody, for giving me the time.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I don't know, how everybody is thinking, but I am really thrilled, and I can't even, wait to be on it. So thank you so much. I learned a lot, and I also learned something else, that now on the polar regions, our boat helicopters are doing the excursions. And thank you for the correction, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So having said that, let me wrap it up. We have 3 new voyages also that I wanted to mention. They're really spectacular. One of them is Franz Joseph Adventure. Like, it's a thrilling voyage to the Russian high Arctic and the rarely visited Novaya Zemlya, the largest of the Eurasian Arctic archipelago. Actually, it's a great itinerary. If you want me to send you the details about it, please let me know. I will get it done. The other one is Lofoten Islands and Norwegian fjords. The Norwegian coast is one of the most exciting adventure destinations in the world. So with this itinerary, you can explore the highlights of the epic coast under the midnight sun, of flowers blooming, or rivers filled with the fish, or the giant waterfalls towards the ocean. So it's a beautiful, another stunning itinerary. And the next one is Andalusia coastline. I don't know, the Mediterranean has been always one of my favorites also, that you'll be exploring the fascinating coastlines of the Europe, Morocco, and Mediterranean on this 12-day voyage departing from the Maltese. You will be visiting the UNESCO site Gozo, reveal in the Andalusian charm of Spain, and discover the unique blend of cultures in Morocco's Tangier. So these are 3 new voyages in 2022. All of them will be stunning. If you need more information of the itineraries, just let me know. I'll share them with you. So to summarize, these are some top reasons why cruise with Scenic Eclipse. You already know that we are combining the luxury and discovery. It has the latest safety and technology that Jason talks about, very detailed and very informative way. Thanks again. She's only 552 feet in length, and maximum 228 guests on the non-polar and 200 on the polar regions. Because remember this unfortunate COVID situation made the people not to travel with thousands and thousands of people. So please remember this. Your guests will be, enjoying their time and exploring the destination maximum of 228 people. Um, as I was mentioning, 114 suites in total, all veranda suites, and we do have the unique tools, the helicopters, submarines, zodiacs, kayaks, e-bikes, and many more, and all inclusive. So why not? She's a stunning ship, and I guarantee that everybody will really enjoy any destination that they will be on. Please meet the groups department, Dave, Michelle, and Villa. If you have been already booking with us and the groups, you already probably talked to them. Now you can put their faces on their voices. You can reach them via phone or email, or you can always reach out to me and I'll make sure that I take care of your request and hand you over to Dave or Michelle or Villa. I know that it's very important. Everybody is asking what's happening. Just to let you know, I added handouts in the handouts, our protocols as a PDF, so you can share it with your clients if you need to. Our commitment to you is we want to rest assure all of our guests that our Scenic Global Management team is working very closely with CLIA and various government health agencies around the world to make sure that the guests and our crew members' health is priority. So we commit ourselves to your health and safety. We'll be having doctors on board. So we're updating our protocols because we're really working so hard with all these various government health agencies to make sure that we're doing everything right in place. So if you need more information, again, reach out to me. I can share more documents with you. Another new thing that I wanted to share, we have launched our Platinum Protection Plan, which is a protection plan. It's not an insurance. I was getting some questions like, is it an insurance? It's not, because we're not an insurance agency, but it's a protection plan. So it depends on our brands. It can be on Emerald or Scenic brand. It starts from $295 per person. Some of the highlights are it does include the pre-existing conditions. Also, it does include the COVID-related situations that if the guest cannot travel, they can get up to 100% refund if we cancel it 30 days prior to the departure. So again, if you need more information, I can share them with you later on, or you can always go to our website. You'll find the information. I think it's a great plan, especially on Eclipse. I have just done 6 bookings back-to-back itineraries, and it was worth more than $100,000 for 2 people. And they said, yes, we want it, because you never know what's going to happen. So you can really add this protection plan to your bookings. And if you still wanted to go ahead and do additional insurance for whatever reason, you can do that too. But this is something new. Talk to me if you need more information. Agent portal, I always say, please go and use the agent portal that you can access our booking tool, ExpressBook. You don't have to wait for anybody. You can use the ExpressBook to make a quotation, to make a booking, or do some payments. You don't have to reach out to anyone. You can access 24/7. Scenic Rewards, Agent Academy, group offers. Really, using Agent Portal, you will access anything you need. Agent Academy, I always say that product knowledge is very important. Why? The more that you know about the destination, you'll be able to close the sales. So you have to have your certifications. Each time that you finish a course, you will earn 3 points on the CLIA. So that's another advantage. As soon as you finish your courses and get your certifications, and if you make a booking, you will have a bonus 10,000 Scenic or Emerald rewards point, which is going to be approximately $200 worth of value. And of course, I know everybody wants to join us in one of our FEMs. One of the first things that we require is your certification. So please, Agent Academy, go there and learn about the products and get your certifications and be ready. Rewards program, you don't have to enroll or do anything. All you have to do is make a booking, let your client sail with us, and then you will start accumulating these rewards points, which you can redeem them to buy any merchandise on our rewards website. Some of the early bird, super early bird offers, it's 2022 and 23. These are all combinable with your group bookings also. You can get up to 20% off. These super early bird offers are really very hot. And I have been closing the deals lately. We're making a lot of new bookings. Take the advantage of it. Of course, we include complimentary the deposit protection plan. You can add the platinum protection plan on top of the deposit protection plan to, you know, get the best out of it. So please check it out. If you need a specific offer on a specific itinerary, again, reach out to me. I will give you all the information. 2021 offers also are still there. Like we have reduced business class air on, you know, some of the voyages, or free economy or premium economy air, or pay in full in 14 days to get additional discounts, etc., etc. Because you have joined us today, I'm extending another $300 per couple on Scenic Rivers, $500 on Eclipse per couple, and $250 on Emerald. This is an addition to all the current offers. I'm hoping that it will help you to close your sale. So again, with my experience so far, that any advisor who joined us and they deliver all their knowledge to their clients, and then they also offered this discount, like $500 additional, it really helped that the clients wouldn't find anywhere else this $500 additional discount, and they just add this and they close the sale. So having said that, this will conclude our session, and I will open up for question and answers. Let me see, and then I can show our faces also now. Hold on a second. Let's see, I'm here. All right. Jesus Barraza said 2 years ago that about the e-bikes, there was a last minute change. Okay, so Jason, there was a last minute change on the e-bikes that they were now regular mountain bikes. These bikes 12 would be only used in Europe. In America, the risk of being stolen was too high, so it was decided you would not offer them to the guests. So what's the status of the mountain bikes or e-bikes?
The bikes are e-bikes, but what's interesting, they're mountain e-bikes. So they are designed for whether road or dirt, but they are e-bikes themselves. And right now, like I said, there's no limitations as to where we can offer them. It's just based on where the ship is pierside and port, to make sure that we have a safe, you know, route for our guests themselves, whether it's a self-tour or if it's a guided tour. One of the things that we're also looking at as well is helicopter biking, where we would take the bikes to a remote mountain area with mountain trails themselves, and then have our guests be able to enjoy a downhill ride or a ride in these remote mountains away from the ships. Yes. So we're looking at all kinds of cool stuff, but they are e-mountain bikes.
There you go. Oh, thank you. And you know what I was so excited about? The heli skiing. Oh my God. That is so super exciting. I don't know. It's just, I think it's awesome. All right.
It is, yes.
Any questions I'm seeing? Okay, maybe have your contact info. Okay, you're seeing it on the screen. My contact information is Oya B at scenicusa.com, or my phone is 469-929-5706. Okay, Joy's asking, Oya, please send me any and all the, oh, Andalusia. It will be my pleasure. While Joy is asking for Andalusia, because our new 2022 itinerary, I will send all the information with pricing, and maybe we can put another group together, Joy. Thank you. All right, the other question is, do you offer fishing excursions in Patagonia region? Jason, do we offer any
That,
fishing excursion?
that would not be off the ship, but that would not be, because I know, and I can't specifically answer this, but we do offer add-on experiences prior to boarding the ship or after boarding the ship with local guides and so on. So throughout the world, we do offer those kind of packages. I'm just not aware of all the different packages that we have in addition to the voyage itself. But that's something we can definitely look into. But I'm sure with Patagonia, we do fly fishing.
Wow. Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone? Well, if you come up with another question, you know how to find me. Just call me or shoot me an email, and I'll reach out to Jason if I have to. I'll bug him again.
Great. Anytime.
All right. So if nobody has any other additional questions, once again, Jason, thank you so much. It was so wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Without you, we wouldn't be here for sure. So thank you for your continuous support, and please be safe, happy, and healthy. And thank you again, and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Jason.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.